I discovered that those 40-inch jeans didn't button anymore. I couldn't get them closed. And that was the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like, Jesus Christ, man. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I like how we can be so real here.
The last time, July 30th of 2018. I was living at the Roadway Inn in Montgomeryville. And it ain't no hotel. It's a motel, bro. This is rough. Like, you know, Al ended up getting locked up. The girl I was with, Allison, gets locked up. And it gets to the point where it's like, I ain't got no money. I ain't got no dope, no drugs. And I wake up, I'm on the floor in the Roadway Inn, bro. And I remember looking in the mirror like, dude, is this like, you know, 3 years before that, I'm fucking living in a fucking beautiful house. I got my kids. I'm fucking taking care of shit, you know what I mean? I'm clean.
And this business is really hard. And now mom's dead. Now this baby's born. And she's got, my youngest, 3 holes in her heart.
Right.
Trisomy 21, which is Down syndrome.
Right.
I have people stealing from me in my company, I think. Certainly time, possibly money.
Right.
It was November 8th of 2017. I turned to my wife. I'm in the bathroom. I'm sitting here. I'm 190 pounds.
Right.
I was 160.
Right.
Maybe 165, soaking wet. And I turned to her and I said, I can't do this anymore. I went to a holistic doctor a few months prior, and I explained to him what was going on in my life. And he says, well, what has helped you out in the past when you've been super anxious and all this stuff? Because, Jimmy, it was a lot. Like, there was a lot going on in my world. Like, these are not excuses. This is just what life had handed me.
No, absolutely.
And basically, I left that appointment, not with a medical marijuana card, just with a permission to use that substance.
Yeah.
And my wife said that was the worst day of her life.
Once I had one, and I woke up the next day, I thought, oh man, the guilt came in. I said, what did I do? I can't believe I did it. I can't tell anybody. This will never happen again. This was insanity. And do you know, maybe it lasted about a week or two, and the thought kept coming back. Well, you got some money. Why don't you go back in again? No. And I'd fight it back and forth. If there was ever a low to my life, it was that. Living these 2 lives, one of Mr. Clean, drug counselor, give you the advice, and at the same time, Mr. hanging out in abandonmenium shooting dope. It ruined it. I mean, I was like, it took a long time to heal from that kind of nonsense that I put myself through.
See, that's the edge of the volcano right there.
And then I remember, like, not too long after that, not being able to get, like, oxys and never considering stopping the effort until I got one. That was a turning point for me. Like, I remember...
No choice.
Like, I'm going to get my hands on this.
Yes.
I'm not going to stop trying until that happens. There is no take a time out for 4 hours and try to... And I love the duality of the meeting, of the meaning of this is, yes, there's the obvious, like, dancing on the volcano, the potential for this, like, eruption of, like, a ton of bad shit. Like, are you going to, like, perish by these risks you're taking, this life you're living, this, like, obvious path of destruction and just all around badness, you know, and you're like dancing on the edge, which is more dangerous than just standing on the edge or something like that. And then there is like the other implication of like the recovery version of it, where dancing to me has always implied some level of joy and freedom. So it's like, even like clean me, to use the visual metaphor of dancing on a volcano, is like, I am having a fucking ball. I'm having the best time dancing on top of this thing that really has the potential to erupt on me and wipe me out at any given time if I'm not careful.
I worked a lot with the 173rd Airborne Brigade. So they were ripping out, so they were leaving, we call it ripping out, and half the brigade had already left, went back to Italy. going to a place called Wanat. They ended up getting almost overrun. Lost about nine guys that I knew. I got to meet, had meals with them. And that was a shock. Witnessing, people in the hospitals at the chapel and go visit, just watching them fight for their lives. 90-something% of his body was charred. Just watching him end up passing away. But one thing that I'll never forget about that night is there's a young Afghan guy who worked in the hospital. I'm just seeing him kind of just mop up this blood on the ground, just like being angry, like just thinking to myself, I hope this guy knows that what this American passed away for, it was for him.
So where was the point where enough was enough?
We had got so bad, right? And he worked for Chrysler, and he had been to rehab like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. And every time we got jammed up, he would go away to rehab. He would and leave me with leave me. And I'm in bad shape. I can't take no more. And he says to me, listen, we owe these people money. And he says, listen, I'm going away because they're coming looking. And you need to do the same. You need to go away, right? And I'm like, what a great idea. I'm going to get to go to Florida too, right? And everything.
Where did you go?
I go to my supervisor. They had no idea what I was, even with my attendants. They had no idea that I was using. He didn't know what to do with me. Once again, the gift of desperation. Help don't look like help, because it truly was. It saved my life.
And that's what Dancing on the Volcano is all about.
Absolutely, man.